What up guys, Nu-Metalcore here bringing you another album review, and this time I've got some local talent for you to check out, and you need to check out this EP. If you're into groove, nu metal or metalcore, this is definitely for you. But I'm going to be reviewing the new Start to Survive EP entitled Have Me to Waste. This is a self-released EP. Now, if you aren't too familiar with Start to Survive, they are a northeast based kind of nu metalcore sort of band, a genre that's definitely blown up over the past couple of years. It's basically an adaptation or a more modern take on the nu metal sound, but adding a lot more metalcore influence, or you could say vice versa. It's metalcore just with a lot of 90s nu metal sort of influence. There's a lot of bands out there leading the charge. You could say Lotus from the UK, Vane, Victims, and also to an extent Cane Hill as well. And yeah, it's definitely a great genre. Also, one's just quickly come to mind there, the new Blood Youth album. Make sure you check it out. That's just dropped today when I recorded this, which is the 22nd of February, so make sure you check that one out as well. But yeah, the nu metalcore genre is definitely blown up over the past couple of years, and Start to Survive are joining that charge with this new EP entitled Have Me to Waste. Now, their last EP had a lot of influence from the nu metalcore sort of style. You could see it's starting to take form with their last EP called, which I believe, yeah, Life Loss, which I didn't give all that much listens to, in all honesty, but it's still a damn solid EP, so if you want to check that out, link down below. But I was really stoked about this new EP from Start to Survive, especially after when they dropped their first single off this EP entitled Dismal. I was really looking forward to it. I loved the grit, the heavy grooves that were in there, and the emotion-filled vocals that filled you with so much, you know, animosity and stuff like that. It really got us pumped up and got us quite excited for this EP. And then when it dropped, I was in awe at listeners, and I've listened to this EP quite a bunch of times, and I still find it absolutely incredible to listen to. This is, in my personal opinion, way better than the Life Loss EP. I mean, there's just a lot more well thought out lyrics. The grooves are just really intense, and with the guitar tone on this one, it kind of puts us in mind on, and I can hear sort of influence within the songs themselves from, what's the album? Mental State by Traitors. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then definitely link down below, because obviously the new stuff is going to be along the lines of Hate Campaign. But anyway, yeah, that's sort of really thin in some elements. I know this may seem as a bit of an insult, but it's kind of like a really gently percussive sort of tone where it's quite thin, but it still has a lot of loudness and a bit more grit. That gives it a bit more grit, I feel. It's not exactly chunky, it's just really percussive and very violent sounding guitar tone. You would have to hear it to know exactly what I'm on about, but if you want something in reference to, I'd say Mental State by Traitors. But yeah, it's definitely the songwriting on this release definitely feels a lot more well thought out than the last EP, and the songs definitely click a lot more. And I definitely have to say that it's kind of like, obviously with the nu metal sort of influence, the kind of comes along with that, the kind of noisy kind of electronic sort of ambient sort of stuff going on in the background in between the riffs that really give it that really interesting factor and pull it back to that 90s sort of vibe. And I really get that a lot from this EP. It really adds to it, but it really kind of intensifies the release and makes it a lot more stronger and a lot more well, I know I'm going to say this, but a little bit more gritty and more pumped up to listen to, and that I think is a great pleasure to listen to myself, and I think that's one of the factors that has made us listen to this on repeat, should we just say. But yeah, it runs about 18 minutes, which is quite short, but I feel like in that short space of time, excuse me, in that short space of time, you might as well just listen to this EP again and again, and it just makes it all that more enjoyable, if you ask me. But yeah, it starts off with some really groovy atmospheres in there with the first song, Tremors, then goes into the single that we pre-heard before the drop of this EP, which was called Dismal, which I absolutely love that song in general, and there will be a link down below of where you can check out that track. It'll be in the tracks to check out, probably through the first one more than likely. Another strong track on this one is Back and Forth. That is a really, really solid song, full of groove, full of intensity and just grit, if you ask me. Twinge, that is just groove central from the start, from the get-go. It's just groove central. The twinge, you could kind of reference it to like the twinge of your head just bopping along to it like it is back in the nu metal 90s, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that nu metal should be only in the 90s. I mean, some of the 2000s stuff was... Ooh. Anyway, moving on. Dread is also an absolutely fantastic track. And then we have the final track, which is, I believe, the longest one on the release yet, which is 4 minutes and 9 seconds. Like, it's a 6-track EP, but some of the songs range from, like, a minute to 2 minutes to nearly 2.5 minutes long. And then there's the last track on the end, which is 4 minutes long, which is a bit more of a kind of, like, powerful sort of gritty, I know I'm saying that again, I know, shut up, but yeah, gritty, sort of more powerful bass song, which I think definitely gives it a bit more monolithicness and majesty to it, if you ask me. So I definitely feel like that is definitely one of the strongest songs, if not the strongest song on the release, if you ask me. So Have Me to Wish is definitely my favourite, followed by Dismal, definitely one of the stronger ones, definitely. And I'd say Twinge. I'll leave links to those 3 songs down below, and there will be a link to the full stream if I can find one on YouTube or whatever. But all this stuff is on Spotify, iTunes, probably Amazon Music. I haven't looked in depth into all this, but I'm pretty sure it's on. Well, it's definitely on Spotify. It's definitely on iTunes. It might be on Amazon, I'm not sure, but it's on all the streaming platforms that you use. So make sure you check out this. I'd say if you're a fan of Lotus, Traitors, or or Victims, then this is definitely for you. Make sure you check it out. Start to Survive with their new EP, Have Me to Waste, is miles better than I was expecting it to be. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Make sure you check this out. For an overall score, I'm going to give this a solid 8 out of 10. I just want another release fairly soon, because this is absolutely outstanding. So yeah, but yeah, it's just a little bit short, but I want more. Come on, give it to me, guys. But yeah, I'll say it's, might as well also add I nearly forgot about it. The vocals are also a very prominent thing on this release. They're very filled with anger, animosity, and a very aggressive range from the lows to the chanty, hardcore, intense vocals. It's something all around, full of aggression, and it's full of groove. Aggression and groove. What more can you ask for when it comes to nu-metalcore? But yeah, I'll see you until the next video, and remember, stay metal, and I'll see you later.